God to greeting. I'm Wolfgang and I'm from Germany. I want to share with you a vision I had in the year 2000. I call it the tree journey. In the late summer of 2000, I went for a walk in my beloved forest with my then favorite goal of a 300-year-old beech tree. I leaned my forehead against my beloved old tree and closed my eyes and was without expectations. Suddenly, in my mind's eye, I saw a door that was obviously in the tree opening. A muscular, bald man invited me in and said he wanted to take me to important people who were waiting for me. We went down a spiral staircase together, and he lit my way with a torch. After a few turns of stairs, we entered an underground horizontal corridor. The walls glistened in the torchlight, probably because of the moisture in the groundwater. He said that I needn't be afraid and that everything was already nicely laid out back there. We entered a magnificent, brightly lit, high-domed hall. All the walls and floors were tiled with the finest mosaics. In its center rose a gigantic rock crystal. The water ran down his body. I gaped in amazement at this splendor. I no longer paid any attention to my companion, the torch bearer, because I was so impressed by the beauty of the hall. Somehow he was no longer there or had withdrawn discreetly. So I just kept going up a few stairs and down again. The bright corridor, also tiled with mosaics, led sometimes to the left and sometimes to the right, until I finally arrived in a small anteroom. There were two men about 2 meters tall as guards in front of the door. They looked like Egyptians in the time of the pharaohs and stood on either side of a large, smooth metal door. It saw what the front door to a modern elevator looked like. They held their spears crossed as a sign that no unauthorized person could enter here. As I approached, they set their spears upright, and the door opened centered left and right on its own, just like in an elevator. They gave me the sign to enter. I walked through and suddenly found myself in a large room that looked like a sultan's palace, with lots of carpets and fine furnishings. A dark-skinned, portly man came up to me dressed like a king of Arabian Nights, with a turban and lots of jewelry. He introduced himself as King Enoch. He said to me, "Welcome. We've been expecting you. There are important things to talk about, and I should follow him." We finally came to a table where about 5 to 7 other leaders were sitting. King Enoch then said to me, "We have brought you here because we want to ask you an important question." I was very surprised and wondered what it was that I had to answer that was so important. King Enoch didn't keep me waiting long and said to me, "We would like to ask you if you would help with the emergence of the one religion here on earth." I spontaneously agreed, without thinking. All religions have at their core the truth of the one God, I thought to myself. King Enoch said happily, "Well, that's wonderful. We really didn't want to hear more from you. If I wanted to, I could leave her again now. I'll explain in a moment who the others at the table were." King Enoch took me back to the front door with the guards. King Enoch assured me that I could come back any time I wished, for now I knew the way. We said goodbye warmly. The torch-bearer took over the lead again from the rock crystal room, and in a few moments he brought me back to the exit of the big old beech tree. Now let's jump back in time to spring 2019 at the end of March. A friend gave me this revelation of the prophet and Messiah Sai Khan in the first hardcover edition. I was amazed that the book came to me because I hadn't read a spiritual book in a while. Years ago, my inner voice said to me, "Wolfgang, what else do you want to know? You don't need to read anymore. First of all, bring all this knowledge into your heart." When I held the revelation given to me in my hands and read the title, "God reveals himself to mankind as a visible God," I knew immediately that the spiritual world had sent me this book, and in the next 3 or 4 days I had already read it. I had not finished reading the book when a deep desire arose in me to get to know this prophet, Messiah Said Khan. No sooner said than done, and so I was in his seminar for the first time at the beginning of May 2019. As early as August 2019, I was able to tell him about my tree journey vision in the year 2000. I start telling him this story to see what he had to say about it. But after just a few sentences, I caught my breath. When I said, "A bold, strong guy picked me up at the tree entrance door," I suddenly stopped and the scales fell from my eyes. This then bald-headed messenger with torch had been prophet Messiah Said Khan. What a moment it was now with this realization. I had tears in my eyes. I met the Messiah in a vision almost 2 decades ago, exactly in the year 2000, when he presented his book of Revelation, God reveals himself to mankind as a visible God for the first time to the public. Syed then gave me information about the other participants who once sat at the table with King Enoch. It is the Enoch family. Enoch walked with God. It says so in Genesis 5:21 to 24. Enoch descended from Adam's son Seth. Adam's son Abel was also there. Other participants were Enosh, Kenan, and Lamech. Finally, down the line is Abraham, the father of the great 3 religions, who was also present. The spiritual world needed 19 years, starting in the spring of 2000, until they finally sent me this priceless revelation. I've finally been a member of the mission since May 2019. I am deeply grateful. God bless Prophet Messiah Said Khan, God's heart.